Phoenix Talent families, welcome to Loop with the Sup. We have some exciting updates to share with you. Last week we remembered the devastation and trauma of the Almeda fire that ripped through our district. That day will forever stick in my mind when I first saw the smoke and realized it was right on top of us in no time.
What did you do that morning? Do you remember what happened that morning? Because
Yeah.
I remember I was actually covering a story in Medford and we saw smoke. But did you? When did you realize? About what time did you realize this is a bigger deal than what maybe we thought it would be?
Well, Randy, who was doing mail courier at that time, came in and said, "Hey, is Talon okay over there?" And I go, "Yeah, I think. Why do you ask?" And he says, "There's a big mushroom plume of smoke coming up." So I walked outside. I called the staff at Talon Elementary and asked about it. They kind of had the same reaction. I said, "Well, why don't you step outside?" And then started to see the smoke, and we made the decision to get people home as soon as possible.
Because that was a day when Chromebooks were being handed out. Yeah.
That was our kind of conference day Chromebooks, and we were starting online at that time.
Right.
Way back when we had online school.
Remember those days?
We still have some trauma from that too. But yeah, we asked staff to get home to their families, and as we know, that was a bit of a fiasco in itself. But I still am amazed about how fast that ripped through our community and the tremendous effort of our first responders with really, I think it ended up being 3 loss of life, which is terrible, but considering what could have been,
we all thought it was worse.
It's just absolutely remarkable. So I remember that afternoon, that night, just wondering what was going to be left, and was able to come in and drive around the next day and ask a firefighter just one question if he was able to save the high school. And with tears in his eyes, I've said this story many times, he basically just said we saved it.
And you probably didn't think that. I mean, when I saw the reports coming through, I kind of assumed that, oh my goodness, a lot of those big buildings were probably taken with the fire.
There were a lot of rumors going on, and everything's happening at a million miles an hour. But I know it was a valiant effort of our first responders and fire department to try to save as much as they could. And I'll tell you what, we wouldn't be where we are today without those buildings being saved. Yeah. I mean, if we were to have to rebuild schools, just one school, it would be distraction, disruption, and this year's been a great start. So
So let's talk about that. The back to school stuff. I didn't realize before I came into education how big of a deal. I just figure, it's first day of school, kids just go to school, everything's there. But there's a lot that actually goes into getting ready for that first day. So can you just explain what kind of thing we had? Should we just keep going this way? Yeah. We there was some some education for the educators, basically getting them ready. Talk about that, what that's like, and how important that is for staff.
It's extremely important. We've been fortunate to extend our in-service week by a few days the last couple years. Really tied to we've had some new curriculum, so it's really nice for our staff to understand and get their hands on our new curriculum before the kids get here and really kind of plan out their year. We had many other trainings. This year we had kind of an a la carte where they could kind of pick their training on some things, and so there's a lot to go into that first day of school, and our staff and people that have planned those in-services just did a tremendous job, and I really believe that's a big reason why we're having a fairly smooth start. We're in the second week, and it's been a solid start overall.
Yeah, I understand staff, they really enjoyed the selections that they had for this year, and it was just very helpful from what I've heard from staff.
Nobody likes to participate in professional development that they don't feel like relevant to their position or job, and so we try to provide that flexibility for our staff this year.
So one thing that some people may not realize is we have these school-based health centers that we partner with La Clinica, and we actually were able to add one at the high school this year. But talk about what those are all about. What are they for, and why are they? Why is it just great overall that we have that availability at our schools?
Yeah, first of all, I mean, La Clinica is just a tremendous partner in this regard, and we had some grant funding that we supported getting school-based health centers in all of our buildings, and now it's essentially self-sufficient and funded through La Clinica.
Funding model, very interesting how
Yeah.
that we're able to self-perpetuate.
Yeah, absolutely, and they do the, they do their billing, and really what it is for is a convenience for kids and families to have health services right at school. We know that first of all, just to get into your provider is a big challenge, and if you can, it's usually not the same day or the next day. It's usually weeks down the road, and so we feel like this can really help our initiatives where we want to improve our attendance. When things are happening with students, that we can provide health services right on campus for our kids, and allow our parents to not have to take off work to take their child, to take them out of school, to take them to an appointment. So
it's sort of a one-stop shop. It's very convenient.
We have them in all of our schools. Extremely fortunate to have a partnership with La Clinica. Our high school-based health center was built in record time, thanks to our contracting partners and our maintenance crew to get that up and running. It's a beautiful facility, and we're just thankful that this will provide opportunity for kids to really get care in the most efficient manner to maximize the time in school. As you know, we did a really big campaign on attendance last year. This year is the same. We want to make sure our kids are in school every single day in order to maximize their learning.
And dental, I don't know if you mentioned, I think they have access to dental services as well.
Yeah, they have all that. They're pretty much a one-stop shopping. If they can't do a service in there, in the health center, then they can refer it out and actually refer it to their clinic to where they can do that. But they can also prioritize kids to get in there as soon as possible. So
yeah, great service. Just today, we wanted to touch on something that just came to me today. You went around to the school sites. You kind of do this like once a week. You go around and visit and see what's going on. Talk about what is that about? Why do you do that? Why do you think that's important?
Well, I haven't the last several years, but this year I've really blocked out a day a week in the calendar to get to every school. Usually our office is in Phoenix, so I'm at Phoenix Elementary and Phoenix High School a lot, but really kind of blocking out that time to get to every school and kind of see what's happening. I'll tell you what, it's been the best morning being at all our schools, and that's where the game's being played. That's where we're. That's why we, prep and professional development, and that's why we get into this business, is to see all that in action at school. So, and it was a wonderful visit. So many great classrooms I walked in, student engagement, fun activities, still kind of getting to know each other a little bit during this second week of school, but absolutely just a fantastic time being in the buildings this morning.
You're able to see staff. You actually go into the classrooms and see what. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And I mean, this is my 20th year in this district, and so still have a lot of relationships from when I've worked in a lot of the buildings here, and so it's good to see and reconnect.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks for doing this. This is I believe our fourth, maybe fifth loop at the Supt. First one of the new school year, and we're off to a good start.
Yeah, appreciate it.